Okay, as we talk about marketing resources, we're going to continue with the 4 Ps, and next we'll talk about pricing. So there's 3 stages of the pricing strategy. So you want to determine your pricing objective. So what are you trying to do with your pricing? And there's different ways you can look at that. And then you're going to determine your strategy. So you can look at strategy ignoring costs. So we're looking at demand or competitive pricing, or we can do a pricing based on costs. So we're looking at it costs $1 to create this opportunity, and we want to make a 10% profit. So we're going to charge $1.10 based on a cost, right? And then we want to determine when and whether a price change is needed and how to implement that. And you can see that a lot with let's just say fast food, right? What your value meal that used to be $4.99 before tax over a 10-year period may become $7.99 before tax. Okay, let's look at demand-oriented pricing. And this is where we look at the demand rather than the level of cost. So if we're offering a service for $1, we're not basing it on the cost of $1. We're basing it on the demand. So an agency estimates how much value potential participants see in the service, program, or item, and they offer the price accordingly. So it often involves differential pricing, when more is charged for the use of this service or area than another. And think about that with hotels. Like when prime time hotel usage, the price per room goes way higher. And then we can look at competition-based pricing. So this is when we base a price on what competitors are charging. So we can look at we can price it the same as a competition. So we say, and you look at gasoline is a good example of this, right? In general, most people are within a few cents of each other per gallon on gasoline. We can look at a higher price than our competition, and we have to market that accordingly. Like maybe we're trying to create a better value or a better. This has better. I don't know. It's a better quality, so to speak, right? Then we can look at lower pricing. So we want to say it's the same quality, it's the same demand, and we're offering it a little bit cheaper, trying to capture more of the target market. So again, the agency does not look at its own cost or demand. It's looking at the cost and demand elsewhere in the market, and it's looking at their competitors, whether it's in the market or an ancillary market. So let's talk about the psychology of pricing real quick. So we have to think about what's the expected price threshold. What are people willing to pay for a variety of reasons, right? And then we think about a tolerance zone. If I expect to pay $5 for a value meal, would I be willing to pay $5.50? Maybe. What about $6? Maybe, maybe not. But when we get to $7 or $8, maybe I'm out of it. I'm that's too much. So there's a tolerance zone there. Then you can look at the psychology of pricing when it adds prestige. Because I'm willing to pay $8 more for a value meal versus somebody who's only willing to pay $5. Maybe there's some prestige and some personal reputation that goes along with that. And we can look at perceived value. So, a lot of times people, estimate that the higher the price, the more value there is, or the lower the price, the less valuable something is. So we think if something is cheap or doesn't cost much, well, it must be made cheaply. It must not be that good of quality. And vice versa. If it's high dollar, it's usually high quality and high value and all that. And, sometimes that has merit and sometimes it doesn't. Then we can look at customary pricing and odd pricing, just a couple other pricing strategies that round it out. Now let's look at place. That's the third P in the 4 Ps of the marketing mix. And this is where you're going to be. It's a place or distribution decision where you're going to be or where your products or services are going to be. And it's important for the leisure delivery system just as it is in the other marketplaces throughout the market. Okay, so let's look at some major decisions when designing and operating an efficient distribution system. So again, we're looking at place, right? Where are we delivering or having or housing our products? So we want to look at the level and quality of customer service. How can we best deliver our products, services, or things? The number and location of different branches. So where are the other places we're going to be distributing said product, place, or thing? And then we're going to look at the design of the facilities. What's the design available or that can make it happen? And they talk about atmospherics, and this is just all the other stuff surrounding the core of what you're doing. I think things like this, how are people going to travel to and from your place? Is the road system easy to navigate? Something like that. And one way we can get our product placer thing out there into the world is thinking about using third parties as a way of distributing our stuff, right? So whether it's services or products or whatnot, sometimes we enter agreements. For example, a local park and recreation agency may enter an agreement with a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club to provide a service at their location. So the Parks and Rec agency will provide the staff and materials. The nonprofit partnership will provide the space.